¿Te gustaría cambiar tu estilo de vida? Según lo que ganamos y en qué trabajamos, nuestra sociedad se divide en tres grandes grupos muy desiguales. Los millonarios, que concentran más de la mitad de la riqueza mundial, los empleados y parados, y los empresarios y emprendedores. Si perteneces al primer grupo, enhorabuena, eres rico y no te interesará lo que te vamos a contar. Pero sigue viendo este vídeo porque puedes contárselo a un amigo que no tenga tanta suerte como tú. Si perteneces al segundo grupo y estás a gusto con tu vida y tu sueldo, te felicitamos también, pero sigue atento, porque podrías dar un buen consejo a quien no se conforme con lo que tiene. Si te gustan los retos, si estás siempre informado y te anticipas a los hechos, si eres una persona creativa y te gusta perseguir tus propias metas, entonces tú eres un emprendedor. Pero, ¿no sientes que tu futuro es incierto? ¿Quieres salir de la crisis y dar un giro a tu vida? Entonces escucha atentamente lo que te vamos a contar porque te puede dar la clave del cambio. Hablamos del network marketing, la mejor opción para tener tu propio negocio y obtener ingresos extras con una mínima inversión. El network marketing o marketing multinivel es un sistema de venta directa donde la empresa fabricante elimina los altos costes tradicionales en publicidad y sus canales de distribución, mayorista, distribuidor, minorista, comercio, servicio de postventa, repartiendo todo este ahorro entre sus clientes que se convierten a su vez en promotores o distribuidores. Tú puedes ser uno de ellos. ¿Cómo? Haciendo otros clientes y convirtiéndoles a su vez en distribuidores o promotores. Cuanto mayor sea tu red, mayores serán tus beneficios. Un ejemplo muy sencillo. Has cenado en un restaurante y te ha gustado mucho la comida y el servicio. Por eso se lo recomiendas a 3 amigos. A tus 3 amigos les encanta y al cabo del tiempo se lo recomiendan a 3 personas más. Imagínate la cola del restaurante si todos hicieran lo mismo. Y te preguntarás, ¿cuáles son las ventajas frente a un negocio tradicional? Escucha atento. En el network marketing la inversión es mínima y por tanto el riesgo. La actividad se puede desarrollar a tiempo parcial sin interferir en tu vida cotidiana. Olvídate de horarios y jefes y dedícale más tiempo a la familia y aficiones. Y no importa tus estudios, sexo ni experiencia. Lo importante es que seas constante, dinámico y creativo. Además, la industria del network marketing tendrá un desarrollo acelerado durante los próximos 10 años. En la actualidad existen más de 2.000 empresas de multinivel y con más de 90 millones de personas desarrollando su propio negocio. ¿A qué ya quieres formar parte de esta red? Pues toma nota de las claves para triunfar en el multinivel. Elige bien la empresa con un producto líder y un mercado en máxima expansión. Usa también Internet para crear tu red de consumidores. La clave de este negocio son las relaciones humanas, por lo tanto será fundamental la formación que te brinde la empresa promotora. Imagínate que ya perteneces a una empresa de network marketing. Después de un mes en el negocio has conseguido 5 clientes que les interesa también ser distribuidores. En el segundo mes tus 5 clientes han invitado a su vez a varias personas, consiguiendo 5 más cada uno. Ya tienes una red de 30 miembros. Si los siguientes meses los nuevos 25 miembros consiguieran 5 invitados más, tu red tendrá 130 miembros. Verás que se produce un efecto multiplicador. Y lo más fascinante es que cobrarás comisiones por tus ventas directas y obtendrás residuales de cada persona de tu red. ¿Te imaginas el espectacular crecimiento de tus ganancias? Si has entendido bien todo lo que te hemos contado, habrás llegado a la siguiente conclusión. El network marketing es el mejor vehículo para alcanzar tus sueños y tener el tiempo suficiente para disfrutarlos. ¿Estás preparado para un cambio?
En los próximos minutos escucharás y observarás información muy valiosa que puede cambiar tu vida. Así que ponte cómodo, relájate y observa con atención. Zig Ziglar dice en uno de sus libros más poderosos que el siguiente crecimiento explosivo de la economía vendrá de la industria del mercadeo en red. Robert Kiyosaki, autor de Padre Rico, Padre Pobre, llama a los próximos 10 a 20 años los años de gloria del mercadeo en red. La revista Success ha señalado que no hay industria en la tierra que haya creado más millonarios que el mercadeo en red. Ni los bienes y raíces, ni las aseguranzas, ni la profesión de abogado. Ninguna otra industria. Las empresas de mercadeo en red produjeron más de 100.000 millonarios para mediados de la década de los 90. Hoy en día, esa cifra ha crecido a más de 200.000 millonarios. El señor Ziegler concluye con este sabio consejo. Mi sugerencia, subir a bordo.
Un estilo de vida que le permita conocer el mundo y explorarlo mejor. Un estilo de vida que además le permita dejar un legado para su familia. Hacer parte de una industria en auge a nivel mundial y con su mayor potencial de crecimiento para los próximos años. Es sin duda el sueño de todo emprendedor, el secreto mejor guardado del mundo de los negocios. Es una industria con crecimiento anual estable y flujo sano de efectivo, altos réditos de capital y prospectos a largo plazo para una expansión global.
Así es como la revista Fortune describió este negocio para agosto del 2004. Ha crecido constantemente durante 20 años y ha dado salto arriba del 91% los últimos 10 años.
Hoy en día, sus ventas anuales se traducen en 30 billones de dólares en los Estados Unidos y 100 billones de dólares en el mundo entero.
Muchos han dicho que está hecho a prueba de cualquier recesión. El expresidente de los Estados Unidos, Bill Clinton, dijo al respecto:
Esta industria promueve valores fundamentales alrededor del globo terráqueo y le da a la gente la oportunidad de sacar el máximo provecho de sus vidas.
El primer ministro británico Tony Blair declaró que contribuye importantemente a la prosperidad en la economía.
El famoso inversionista Donald Trump escribió:
Este negocio ha probado ser una fuente de ingresos viable y bien remunerada, y los retos pueden ser apropiados para ti.
El escritor y asesor financiero Robert Kiyosaki apuntó: es una forma nueva y revolucionaria para alcanzar la riqueza. ¿Cómo se logra aprovechar esta oportunidad económica que es el sueño de toda persona?
Este es el negocio del siglo XXI, y para los 15 millones de norteamericanos y 75 millones de personas alrededor del mundo que participan, sus negocios están en pleno auge.
El Wall Street Journal en el 2011 lo denominó el último modelo de negocios sociales. En adelante, usted lo reconocerá como network marketing o mercadeo en redes.
Bienvenido.
Estar preparado es importante, saber esperarlo es aún más, pero aprovechar el momento adecuado es la clave de la vida.
Financial expert, educator, successful investor, and best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki is about to give you the information you need to implement a realistic, achievable plan of building and growing wealth.
Kiyosaki is the New York Times best-selling author of, among other books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
To date, the series has sold 20 million plus copies worldwide. Today, Kiyosaki shares his revolutionary wisdom with you, just as his rich dad shared it with him.
It's information that can take you from working for money to your money working for you.
Information that can set you free.
The story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is really a story of two different fathers with two different sets of values and completely different sets of advice. So I don't mean to insult anybody or, to damage your values, but really that was the difference. For example, my poor dad always said, go to school, get good grades, get a high-paying job, work hard, live below your means, save money, get out of debt, have a good retirement plan. And that was my poor dad's values. My rich dad said, you probably won't get rich doing that way because very few people get rich following that plan.
But you thought saving money made you money.
If you take a look at this 40-year run on the dollar is designed economically to lose money every single year. So why would you save something that loses money every year? And what this means for somebody on retirement plans is that after you retire, the value of your dollar goes down and your cost of living keeps going up. To my rich dad, that was bad advice and made no sense. Again, it was different values.
This goes against everything you've heard.
A very important diagram my rich dad showed me when I was a little boy was a diagram known as a cash flow quadrant. And the quadrant is made up of the four different people who make up the world of business. So my rich dad said, in the world of business, there's E's, and E's stand for employees. An employee, he says, you can always tell who they are by their core values. And what the employee, whether the president or the janitor of the company, will always say the same words. The words are, I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. That's what makes them an employee, because their core values are security. The other one of the four is the S, or the small business owner or the self-employed. And again, their core values will cause them to use the same words, which are, if you want it done right, do it by yourself. S means they're also solo. They're generally one-person act, or they operate by themselves. On the right side of the quadrant are the B's. And what Rich Dad said the B stood for was big business, or like Bill Gates. Forbes defines big business as 500 employees or more. And their words are different. They say, I'm looking for a good system, a good network, and the smartest people I know to help run my business. So they're unlike the S. They don't want to run the company by themselves. They want smart people to run their companies for them. And then the fourth of the quadrant is the I, and I stands for investor. These are people who have money work hard for them. These people are people who have people work hard for them. And these are the people that work hard for the rich here. So early on in my life, it was my poor dad who always said to me, you know, Robert, go to school and so get a high-paying job. And so my poor dad's core value was to be an employee. He wanted job security, promotions, a steady paycheck, and all this. And so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, you know, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned and something you could pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said, work hard, but my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you can get fired from right away? Again, that was the difference in values. So my rich dad suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So the beauty of building a business and learning how to invest is very simply that this is passive income. You work hard for a few years, but possibly for the rest of your life, income keeps flowing to you.
Of all the businesses out there, which type do you choose?
One of the reasons I consider a direct selling business a perfect business is very simply because the company will work with you to get the business skills that make you rich. Always remember that it's not money that makes you rich, it's business skills. And that's why it's a perfect business. They'll take as long as you like to get the skills to make the money. And that's a lifetime skill thing. The other part about it is the low startup cost. You know, where else can you get in for under $500 and get these skills? For people who want to make the shift over to the B quadrant, which is what I would recommend for people, one of the beauties of a network marketing company is that you can do that for a very low price. And that's why I talk to people about considering network marketing. If you're to build a Microsoft, it would take you hundreds of millions of dollars. But a network marketing company allows you to start at a very low rate. They'll be patient with you. They'll take their time to transition over here. And the reason why that time is so important to most people is it takes time to change those values. And the most important thing is once you take the time, let's say it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever time it takes, once you see the value or the core values of this side and this side, you're unstoppable. Today, I would never go back and get a job. Why should I? I'd rather stay on this side, build companies, pay less taxes, and make more money. But the key is a person needs to change the values from my poor dad to the values of my rich dad. And that's one of the beauties of network marketing companies. They allow you the time, and at very low cost, they'll work with you to make that transition over there. The number one asset a person can build is build a business. That is the smartest thing you can do.
You've been told the corporate ladder is the surest route to your success.
Years ago, I decided not to follow the corporate ladder simply because, again, it was values. You know, my poor dad always said, go to school and get a high-paying job with the government or a big corporation. But my rich dad said, why would you work so hard at something you'll never own? You can't sell your job. You can't pass it on to your kids. So to me, it never made any sense. It made more sense to build my own business and hire other people. The other reason is that you really don't have much control if you're in the corporate ladder world. For example, you can get fired at any time, or today we have what's called M&As, or mergers and acquisitions, where another company buys another company. So you could be a great employee, but the company that buys your company just fires you.
Wait a minute. This sounds too good to be true, like one of those get-rich-quick schemes.
It's not a get-rich-quick formula. You don't just do it overnight. It takes time. I still remember the first time I made that transition was back in 1978 when I fully quit my job and I had to depend upon my company that I was building to support me. So I understand the fear. The beauty, the most important thing to remember is this. There's two kinds of people in the world. There are the types that will say, you'll never make it. And I had a lot of people, a lot of friends and family saying that. You're stupid, don't do it. And the second type were the people that said, go for it, you can do it. Don't worry about it, we'll cover you. So the most important thing is support of friends and family. One of the beauties of a direct selling company is that they provide that personal support to you for as long as it takes you to make the journey from the left side to my rich dad side.
You always thought being self-employed was living the American dream.
One of the challenges of being self-employed is that you're your own boss. You're the solo act. Like in the S quadrant, you're the individual. You do it on your own. Whereas in the B quadrant, you're a team player. You have to depend upon your team and count on your team. So the problem with being an S is that, let's say you're in a traffic accident, there goes your income. And let's say you get older and you haven't set enough money aside to retire on, that means you'll probably have to work for the rest of your life because you don't have anybody else to fall back on, not a team to count on. So one of the problems with the S, although most people say it's the most satisfying of all work, it is a solo act, and you're totally on your own. Personally, I'd rather be a member of a team if they can count on me and I can count on them.
It sounds like a smart move, but change, it's so difficult.
We all know the world has changed, but sometimes the hardest thing to change is ourselves. And being an old guy, I sort of know the older I get, I sometimes get more set in my ways. And I think that's one of the things that a direct selling business offers people, why it's the perfect business. They allow you to take your time to make the mental, emotional, and physical changes required to move from the left side to the rich dad side. And I think that's a big thing. It's a very gracious, it's a very elegant way, it's a patient way of supporting you in making the changes of your life. So please remember, change always creates upset, but sometimes we all know we have to make those changes. And if you know it's time for you to make that change, then the perfect business may be a direct selling business for you.
Direct selling. It is quite possibly the perfect business for you.
For more information, contact the person who gave you this video.
Hello there and welcome. I'm Bob Proctor. You may have seen me in The Secret. At least 200 or 300 million people around the world have. In every seminar I've done, I explain that you don't really understand something until you can explain it to someone else so that they understand it. Well, I was caught in my own trap in 1994. I was sitting in a restaurant with a man and he was starting to make a presentation to me, and I quickly realized he wanted to sell me on network marketing. I had a very closed mind on network marketing up to that point, and I wasn't the least bit interested. And he quickly saw that, and he asked me, he said, Bob, do you understand network marketing? And I said, of course I do. He said, would you explain it to me, please? And I realized I couldn't. Now, he had been in my seminar, and he had heard me explain this. And so he said, Bob, you have told me that you don't really understand something until you can explain it to someone else so they understand it. And you see, he had me. And he explained it to me. I sat there and I listened and I really paid attention. And you know, in the restaurant that day, just like that, he changed my life. He really did. Everything in my life changed as I started to understand network marketing. Now, I have done work for a lot of network marketing companies, and up until that time, I wasn't even interested in working with them. I had a very closed mind. Now, it's something that I teach people is a bad thing to have. But you know, every now and then, that may happen to us. I honestly believe network marketing is one of the very best ways to earn money. You see, if you provide a service to someone today, you get paid for it next month. But you get paid for it the next month, and the next month, and the next month. Every month you get paid for what you did for that person today. Now that compounds and it starts to build. Do you know there's people right in Bo's group that are earning more money in a month than most people will earn in an entire year? So if Bo wants to sit down and talk to you, I would strongly recommend you sit down and talk to him. He's an extraordinary guy. I would pay attention to him, pay attention to his products, pay attention to the opportunity he's got. If he wants to talk to you, talk to him. I'm glad I did. This is Bob Proctor. Thank you.